Hi everybody and welcome to the Tournament Center here at Pro Tour Gatecrash in Montreal. I'm Brian David Marshall. This is Denniz Rachid. You may remember him from back-to-back Pro Tour top 8s last season. We're going to do a deck tech with Denniz about his deck called I've Got a Feeling. It's a white-blue weenie deck. But this is a little something different that we're doing here because honestly, you've not had a great standard showing at this event.
That's right. I'm 2-5 right now, so not doing too well in standard. 5-1 the draft, but I mean, even after going 5-1, I wasn't too excited because I knew what my standard deck was.
Okay, so the thing to sort of get at here is you come to a Pro Tour, you're making predictions about this new metagame. You're thinking about what the decks are going to be, what are other people going to be playing, what did we play, what assumptions will they make, and you at some point have to make a guess.
Yeah.
And so what are you guys guessing about the format coming into Pro Tour Gatecrash?
Well, first and foremost, the aggro decks are really good, and so it becomes natural to want to beat aggro, which makes most people lean towards mid-range decks. And to beat mid-range, you usually go over the top or go control or something. So if you're going to guess that it's mostly mid-range, you want to play control, but then aggro usually beats control. So if there's still a bunch of aggro players, then there's where the whole guessing comes in. My guess personally was that aggro would be a bad choice for this Pro Tour. But the thing is, I didn't find any mid-range deck that I wanted to play, and I was not comfortable playing any control deck either, because I didn't just want to get run over by the Saito Gruul deck, for instance, which is a terrific aggressive deck. And
we did a deck tech with Shahar Shenhar on that aggro deck earlier. So let's talk a little bit about this deck, which is a very classic archetype to Magic players are well familiar with. A lot of little creatures. Let's take a look at the first slide, which has 4 1-drops. The unfortunately prophetic Doomed Traveler here. Tell me, Doomed Traveler, Boros Elite, Champion of the Parish.
Even Wingcrafter.
Wingcrafter.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Like Champion of the Parish is obviously the best 1-drop. It's often attacks for 3 on turn 2 and becomes even bigger. Boros Elite, it's fine with Doomed Traveler. Doomed Traveler usually enables the battalion pretty well. So they might even out at like 2 power each, you could say. And the Wingcrafter, I mean, it's actually pretty good in the creature mirrors just to make your parish a flyer. But it's also like extra 1-drops. It's so much better to go a parish or a Boros Elite turn 1 and then 2 1-drops turn 2 than playing 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop.
Right.
Also on turn 3 you could play a 2-drop and a 1-drop. So we really valued the 1-drops a lot. So we wanted 14 of them.
Right, brings you over the top to 14. And it's worth noting, you may forget, it doesn't look like one, but the Wingcrafter is a human. So
they're all human.
They're all human. Let's look at Near Heath
2
Pilgrim.
drops.
2 drops. Near Heath Pilgrim's a card we've seen a lot paired with something like a Boros Reckoner, but
yeah.
What are you looking for out of your 2 drops here?
Well, the first strikers, they're great in combat in any creature matchup, both the Precinct Captain and Thalia. I mean, they're really good 2-drops. Precinct Captain can win matches on its own, kind of, if it goes unhindered.
To get out of hand.
Also good with Wingcrafter. You can get in some beats and build some jumpers, and you can race.
Right.
And Near Earth Pilgrim is to aid the race, basically. Very good against aggro decks. I mean, your parish is usually something that they have to jump unless they play hard removal, but many aggressive decks just play burn, and your Champion of the Parish can become a lot bigger. And if you start gaining 6 a pop, I mean, you won't lose that matchup.
All right, let's move ahead to the 3rd slide here. Let's look at some more cards. And then the 3-drops.
Yeah.
These guys are all very impressive, if not, at least in one case, a little unlikely or unexpected.
Yeah. So Silverblade Paladin, I mean, it's the biggest, heaviest hitter, I guess. A lot of damage potential with the Parish again.
Right.
And with Boros Elite, I mean, it's 6 damage there. Pretty straightforward. Frontline Medic, great card. Very good against Boros Reckoner. I mean, they'll have to go to the face.
Right.
You don't really care about that. You're usually ahead. And just overall very good against the Revelation.
Have you gotten into any
Bonfire.
situations where you're attacking with life-linked indestructibles?
Life-linked indestructibles? No, but often indestructibles. That's usually enough.
Okay.
Okay, so the Sky Knight. So the idea with this deck is to be aggressive, but more or less be all in. Like instead of playing another color combination, say Boros or something, you skip the removals, you just go for the tempo. So you just detain for one turn, and hopefully that gives you enough damage to win the match. And free power flyer, surprisingly good, doesn't tie to ultimate price. You can pair it with double striker.
Okay, and again,
It's
human,
hard.
human.
Human. Yeah, even this is human and flies.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So here's a couple of these. This is sort of the last of the spells in your deck. What is going on with Odric Master Tactician?
Again, it's great in the creature heavy against the creature heavy decks, which includes both aggro decks and a bunch of mid range decks.
Sure, the Jund decks.
Jund decks, for instance, the Saito Naya mid range. I mean, it plays Domri Rade, so it has to have a lot of creatures. And Odric is it's a falter effect or a one-sided rat.
Or even
effect.
the aristocrat kind of decks.
Sure.
Where they're building up and they're amassing an army.
Where there are creatures, and it trumps most combats. Riders of Gavany is a great card actually. It can steal a lot of games.
It's really almost like a forgotten card in Standard. Certainly something we've seen come out of sideboards and once or twice in Standard, but I mean,
and it's one more thing, the popular red, white, blue deck, all their creatures are usually wizard. They might play Restoration Angel, but Boros Reckoner is a wizard, Augur of Bolas is a wizard, Snapcasters is a wizard as well, and making all your guys unblockable and making Boros Reckoner unable to kill them is a very good thing. There's only 2 4-drops because, again, this is more of an all-in aggro deck, so we cut some lands. I play 21 lands in the main deck, so yeah.
So you're obviously expecting creatures. Feeling of Dread is just a great card for this.
Yeah, again, all about the tempo. Don't really care if you still have creatures. I just want to, win when I cast this. And again, you steal a lot of matches with that. Granted, I said I went 2-5. Most of the losses were 1-2 losses.
Sure.
And I did meet up against some unfortunate matchups. Esper Control is not too easy when they miracle terminances. So, yeah.
And it's an interesting card in that, like, a lot of people in this spot will have, a dedicated removal spell, right? We'll see Ultimate Price, or we'll see Searing Spear, and this is just move out of the way and then move out of the way again, right?
It's usually enough. I mean, this is not a deck that grinds people out.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at your mana base. Really pretty simple.
Yeah. I mean, everything. This is basically a mono white deck. Everything enables white mana, all the lands. So it's basically just splashing blue for really sideboard options.
I mean, it's great. I mean, you have 12 blue sources.
Yeah, 12 free blue sources. I mean, you don't care about the damage. Sure, I drew 4 out of 4 Glacier Fortress against Wafatapa earlier. That wasn't too great.
That's probably fairly punishing also, right?
Yeah. But I mean, that shouldn't happen. But otherwise, I mean, the mana base is pretty good.
Let's quickly go through the sideboard. Let's just take a quick look.
Yep.
So sideboard cards.
Island.
I imagine that goes with Geist of St. Traft.
And negates. Basically, against aforementioned Esper Control, you board in 4 Geist of St. Traft and 3 negates. And you really need some extra blue sources, and an extra land isn't usually bad against control.
And maybe if you're bringing in a 4-drop, you might even want an extra land.
Sure. That usually comes in against the creature matchups, though.
Let's look at one last slide, and then see some enchantments, Nevermore, Oblivion Ring, Rest in Peace. I think they're fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, overall, just catch-all cards, kind of, except for this one, Graveyard Hate.
What would you do? What do you do? See, we see this all the time. We see a deck come to a Pro Tour, it's interesting, it catches our eye. Watch you play it, it certainly seems very exciting as I'm watching you play the deck. And again, close matches. I really felt like at any point you could have taken that match against Guillaume Wafatapa, for example.
Yep.
would you do to this deck? Well, I feel like this is a deck we could see people tweak, tinker around with, and
Sure.
find the right week to play it. What would you do to this deck?
Honestly, the biggest fault with the deck is the metagame, which might mean that you can take like this exact list and do well with it in the correct metagame if control makes a huge splash. And because, I mean, control is doing pretty well,
Right.
and when mid-range drops in popularity, punish control decks.
Or when you go to a large Grand Prix and maybe people aren't comfortable playing the same decks that you see
Sure.
top-level pros playing at the top tables.
Sure. I mean, at Grand Prix, I would reckon both aggro and mid-range are popular. But if you think that like there's tons of aggro, then go ahead and play the tempo, even more aggressive deck. I mean, you either go above all the mid-rangey decks, or you go even faster and go all in. So
Okay. Any cards you would change in the deck?
Well, maybe add one more land to the main board, go back up to 22.
Okay.
And yeah, no, that's about it.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I suggest you guys go.
or the whole deck.
Yeah, go on. Or the whole deck.
I mean,
says.
for this
event, you would change the whole deck. But you go on the Magic Online, you can build this, you take it into the standard queues that are going on right now, the gold queues, give it a try, see what you think, see what changes you might make. Who knows? It's certainly a lot of fun. I've got a feeling we're not going to see the last of this deck. For Denniz Rachid, this is Brian David Marshall signing off from the Tournament Center.